I'd like to welcome everyone to the grand reopening and dedication of the Lacey Veterans Services Hub. My name's Andy Ryder, and I'm the mayor of the city of Lacey. I'm extremely excited that you're able to make it here to this event today, and I'm so happy the weather has decided to accommodate us after yesterday's crazy rain and wind. So thank you for the guy up above for making the weather work out today. I also want to take a second to clarify that the title of this ceremony is a little bit of a misnomer. Since the inception of the Hub in 2016, there's rarely been interruptions in the Hub services. The main interruption really only occurred during the early days of COVID back in 2020. And then through several iterations of the Hub, including the building renovation that we are here today to celebrate, the Hub has remained open and ready to serve the veterans of our community and beyond. This has required the Hub and its staff and service providers to be creative and flexible at times, but never to compromise their mission and vision to serve those that served and sacrificed so much for our country. I want to take you back a few years when we were first starting to look at ways to provide more accessible veteran services in our community, which include significant introspection of where local government even could play a role in this. And we heard a lot of thank you, but no, or it can't be done. We even heard a few that it's never going to happen. But look around. It has happened, and it has been a major success. And I'm very excited to share more details about the Hub's success in a few minutes. But for now, I'd like to get this celebration started. Please join me in inviting Chaplain Larry Haas of the American Legion Department of Washington to give the invocation.
Thank you, sir. Let us pray. O loving Father, help us in this crisis of life. Teach us how to meet and conquer temptations, handicaps, frustrations, failures. We know we live in an imperfect world and that life is filled with thorns as well as roses. But sometimes trials come down upon us suddenly, so swiftly that we are bewildered. We cannot understand. God of the universe, lift us up at these times. Pour out upon us your mercy and your loving compassion. May we endure crises and testing as good soldiers of Jesus Christ, in whose name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Larry. It's now my honor to welcome Emily Falter, a student of North Thurston High School, my alma mater, to sing the National Anthem. Emily.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say
Wow, you may be seated. Thank you, Emily. That was truly beautiful. And would you join me in another round of applause for Emily and the chaplain? Go Rams, go Rams. So there's a saying that greatness is achieved through a series of small steps. And that has certainly been true with the Hub. The expanded and renovated facility that we're here to celebrate and to reopen did not happen overnight. Rather, it was a culmination of a series of small steps achieved by a strong collective and creative, supportive, and dedicated community partners, each bringing to the table an invaluable contribution to ensure that the continued success of the Hub over the past 5+ years. And by doing so, continuing to improve veteran lives in the greater Thurston community and beyond. I'd like to personally recognize a number of individuals and entities that helped make and continue to make the Hub a success for years for our community. And if you're in attendance, we're representing the named party, please stand and be recognized. We have quite a few people here, so we'll wait till the end for the applause. United States Senator Patty Murray, United States Senator Maria Cantwell, United States Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, former United States Congressman and Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck, our Washington State legislators, past and present, including Andrew Barkus, Jessica Bateman, Lori Dolan, Sam Hunt, Jim McCune, and J.T. Wilcox, state leadership, including Governor Jay Inslee, the Thurston County Commissioners, past and present, represented today here by Gary Edwards, Alfie Alvarado, the Director of Washington State Department of Veteran Affairs, Gary Walker, the Chairman of the Thurston County Veteran Advisory Board, the Washington State Department of Commerce, the Washington State Department of Enterprise Services, and the Washington State Veteran Affairs, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, the South Puget Sound Community College, who actually has been great partners and lessons from the start. We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for their contributions. My esteemed colleagues on the Lacey City Council, past and present. I see former Mayor Halverson over there. It's good to see you, buddy. City of Lacey staff, including City Manager Scott Spence, Project Managers Justin Knox, Ashley Smith, and we can't forget Steve Kirkman. And Steve, it's my understanding he's over skiing in the Alps right now. I hope he's enjoying his retirement. Sure sounds like he is. And I wanted him to know in particular how deeply appreciative of everything he did to support the Hub and coordinate the expansion that we are celebrating here today. I wish he could have been here. This could have easily be the Steve Kirkman Veterans Services Hub. It's how instrumental he was in everything that leading up to this point. Hub Manager Keith Looker and Volunteer Coordinator Shane Sullivan, our dedicated Hub volunteers, who we would not be able to run this facility without them. Our members of the Veteran Services Hub Advisory Committee that helped build the foundation of this facility's success. Our 85+ partner service providers, the Lacey and Greater Thurston County community. And I want to also give a special shout out to two mayors here today. J.W. Foster from Yelm and Mayor Pete Komet from the city of Tumwater. They've been supporters of our veterans their entire careers and administrations, and they're at the end of their terms. I'm very jealous that they're going to be able to go on and achieve other goals. But thank you so much for what you've done. And at last, but certainly not least, our active duty and community veterans and their families. To the latter, you earned the support with your selfless service to our country, and will continue to be here to make sure you can access whatever you may need, whenever you may need it. And thank you all again for joining us this afternoon, and thank you for your dedication to support of this project. With your help, the Hub is changing the outcome of thousands of veterans' lives for the better. Thurston County has a proud, long-standing relationship with the United States military, distinguished personnel that serve among its ranks, and the outstanding veterans who continue to live here and follow their terms after their terms of service. All Thurston County communities are more robust culturally and economically because of their presence. And if it wasn't for a Lieutenant Colonel Frank Andy Andringa, who served here in the Korean War and Vietnam, I would not be standing in front of you today. So thank you, Grandpa. I love you and I miss you. I know I speak for many when I express how honored I am that close to 30,000 veterans currently choose to call Thurston County home. These veteran services experiences span from World War II to the Korean War, to the Vietnam War, the Gulf War, the war in Afghanistan, and the Iraq War. While these veterans proudly wore the uniform of the United States and selflessly made our country and the world more secure, the truth is that many live below the poverty line and increasingly have trouble accessing basic needs like food and housing. Here in Thurston County, the number of veterans living below the poverty line is around 2,300, or 8% of the total veteran population. In addition, around 7,600, or 26% of our community veterans have a serious disability. And one final truly alarming statistic that my family acutely feels the impacts every single day of all suicide victims in Washington State, 23% are veterans. Given this harrowing statistic I just mentioned, you may be even more surprised to learn that nearly half of all veterans never take advantage of their earned benefits during their lifetimes. Here in Thurston County, that would equate to nearly 15,000 veterans who are not accessing the vital programs and resources they've earned. With all this in mind, it's difficult to understand why this facility was so important 8 years ago when we started contemplating its existence, and why it remains so important now and into the future. Currently, Thurston County has the highest percentage of veterans receiving benefits in Washington State at 46%. Again, here in Thurston County, 46% are receiving their benefits. That's the highest in the state. This achievement, while certainly bolstered by the efforts of this hub, is not enough. Our veterans deserve better. That number should be 100%. And that's why we continue year in and year out to improve, expand, and enhance our services at the hub. Today, the hub hosts over 85 nonprofit organizations that provide services to veterans and their families. A full list of these organizations can be found in your program. And thank you again to all of our service providers. We really would not be a hub without you. With our service providers, the hub is a one-stop place where veterans can access programs and information on education, employment, housing, mental health, nutrition, services, and more. Since 2017, the hub has had over 22,500 client appointments for around 3,500 new clients. The top client appointments over the years is consistently VA benefits assistance, behavioral health assistance, housing, financial assistance, and then employment assistance. And speaking of assistance, the hub would not be possible without steadfast staff of a small but mighty crew of 2 and an army of over 40 dedicated volunteers who have collectively contributed over 26,000 hours of service since opening the hub's doors. In addition, I want to recognize that even before the doors of the hub opened, there was a faithful group of volunteers that the Veteran Services Advisory Committee that helped plan the hub's establishment and making sure it was done right from the get-go. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize them for their outstanding efforts. Can you please join me in one more round of applause for the hub manager, Keith Looker, the volunteer coordinator, Shane Sullivan, and all of our hub volunteers. You guys are amazing. You inspire me every day. With the growth and the success of the hub throughout the first few years, it became increasingly evident that the additional space was necessary to continue to meet our vision and goal of helping local veterans. This growth is why we are here today, to celebrate the reopening of the hub with the completion of what we call the Phase 3 expansion and building renovation. This project included the renovation of the second floor for a U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs outstation, as well as a multi-purpose room large enough to accommodate the hub's partners and growing meetings, events, and programs. The first floor, which houses the hub, now has over 4,000 square feet of space that accommodates 16 office and meeting spaces, including 4 telehealth offices, a renovated lobby, a food pantry in partnership with Lacey Food Bank, which is open to anyone in our community, and a break room for staff and volunteers. The exterior of the building was extensively redone, adding new siding, new windows, a new roof, a number of exterior and interior energy efficiency features that will keep the hub operating for many years to come. And boy, does it look great from when we first got started. I personally invite you to stay for a tour of the facility to see all the improvements in person after the conclusion of our program. And I can't stress this point enough. This renovation was not done alone. It was a collaborative effort with support from everyone in this crowd, and I want to express my deepest gratitude to all of you. From our state delegation, our federal delegation, our federal and state departments of Veterans Affairs, Department of Enterprise Services, Department of Commerce, South Puget Sound Community College, J.A. Morris Construction LLC, Sunset Air, who did all the energy efficiency upgrades, K&B Architects, Partner Services providers, the Thurston County, who has been there from the absolute beginning, the City of Lacey, and of course the greater community. Thank you all. We are appreciative of your efforts and dedication to making services for veterans more accessible. This expanded facility would not be a reality if it's not for your efforts. And as I said at the last dedication a few years ago, there's truly something special happening here. The hub remains a prototype of what can and should be done to help assist our veterans in need. Together, we have removed unnecessary barriers by assistance in an array of social services under one roof. While we're here to celebrate our success with the hub, to date, I want to make it abundantly clear, we're not going to rest on these successes. We remain committed to continuing to expand and improve upon the innovative model. In addition, we remain dedicated to helping other communities interested in establishing a similar facility to support their veterans. And I was just in a meeting earlier with the Military Communities Council at the National League of Cities, who's been following this hub from the get-go, and there are a lot of communities out there who are ready to take up this model. Our outstanding veterans deserve it. And I'll close my remarks with this. As I said earlier, the hub's greatness was and continues to be achieved through a series of small steps. Today we celebrate one fantastic step that made possible by a series of noteworthy efforts and exertions. We could not have taken this step without you. Thank you for helping me put one foot forward, and I look forward to continuing our walk to improve veteran care for decades to come. Now please welcome Gary Walker, the former chairman of the Thurston County Veteran Advisory Board, to share a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jenny, for putting all this stuff together. And thank you for giving me a couple of moments to share my thoughts with you. Just to emphasize something the Mayor has been saying, the hub's been open just over 5 years, and it's made an amazing contribution to our community. Starting with its inception, people were coming in from the day this place opened up. When the Thurston County Veterans Advisory Board had its listening session back in 2015 at the county fairgrounds about what to do to address the needs of our veterans, this place was never envisioned that this would be the end result. We never thought we would achieve something in partnership with the city of Lacey to this level. It was 3 things became abundant: a one-stop shop, getting transportation for the veterans up to American Lake, and crisis intervention. All 3 of those have been met. You can see the vet center. Thousands of veterans are coming in and get counseling. There's a van that runs four days a week now up to American Lake. and veterans are coming in here getting assistance, by the thousands. Then, in partnership with the city of Lacey, this place opened up. The city then took the lead and has developed this facility into something that is very, very special. And like the mayor said, I got confronted on a number of occasions by naysayers who told me directly, this place will never work. Your model is not, it sucks. I'll give it just a couple of months and this place is going to shut down, and I will be delighted to tell you I told you so. And it was just doomed to fail. So now 5 years later, I don't hear from those folks anymore. I see them out at events and they kind of go the other way. And when I do get a chance, I remind them, 6 months is long past and we're still busting. But if you look around, you can see that it's far from a failure, and what a positive impact and influence it's had on everyone who comes through these doors. Just to cite a few examples of more than the 80 programs that are operating here. Homeless veterans are finding housing, and the homeless veteran count is going down a lot. And you can see the count going down starting in 2016 when this place opened. You can see it dropping like a rock. Veterans are getting good, life-changing jobs. Not just would you like fries with that, but jobs that matter, jobs that will make a difference in their lives. Veterans are receiving their VA benefits, which is averaging somewhere between $1 and $2 million a year that's coming into this community. These veterans aren't Warren Buffett, who's looking for a new fund to invest it in. These funds are flowing back into the community. They're buying groceries, they're buying a car, they're buying school clothes. They're paying rent, they're paying mortgage. So it's coming into the community. I think my economics class said money is recycled 4 or 5 times in the community, and it just keeps coming through. And these are just a few examples of the many positive and heartwarming impacts that this facility is having in our community and for our veterans. And if you talk to Shane and Keith, they can tell you all sorts of stories about how this place has been life-changing for a lot of people. And it truly is a model for the rest of our country. And like the mayor said, I would like to acknowledge and thank the city of Lacey for taking this on. This would never have happened without you. The support from our past and present county commissioners, Keith and Shane, for all that you do. You're the only paid guys that coming through the door. So thank you for all of the hours that you guys put in, and the vision and the dedication. And most importantly of all, to all the volunteers who invested thousands of hours, and there's a number of you guys sitting out here, that this has made this place a success. And if it wasn't for the veterans, the volunteers that's coming in, that this place would not have been a success. And our veterans, and they are veterans as well, they're helping their fellow veterans, their brothers and sisters. They would never get the assistance that they so richly deserve. So thank you for everybody. Thank you for all that you guys have done and continue to do. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you, Gary, for all the great work and support. Gary has been there from an integral part of this process from the very get-go. And I remember those early days when we were seeing if we can just possibly make this work. And Gary is one of those people that was ready to roll up his sleeves and do everything he could to make it successful. And you have, Gary. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Gary Edwards from the Thurston County Commissioner to say a few words.
Thank you, Andy. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say, first of all, that we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for our veterans. Just think about what they've given us. Freedom is not free, and we want to thank the veterans and their families. those that have gone before us and our current veterans. So without saying that and dwelling on it, people like Gary Walker has been many, many years he's putting into this whole process. And, you know, nothing takes place in the community that when it comes together without a catalyst. And I want to say that that catalyst has been Lacey. And currently, Andy Ryder, I don't know of anybody that's been more supportive of the whole veterans concept and pushing this through than you are. I know others before you, but you have really set the tone, sir. And so the city of Lacey, to me, gets all the credit. The county's kind of a Johnny-come-lately in this whole thing, but I'm glad to be here, and thank you for accepting my words just for a moment. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Edwards. You know, we always appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with the county, and I have to say it was the county that first stepped up after the city of Lacey to contribute to the hub financially. And so we've never forgotten that, and it's been a big part of this process of how we got here today. The county was right there and been part of the hub since the get-go. So now I'd like to ask one of my favorite people in the world, Alfie, the director of the Washington State Department of Veteran Affairs, to come up and share a few words.
I'm going to have to lower this a little bit. Oh, my goodness. You know, the first words in the Battle Hymn of the Republic say, "Mine eyes have seen the glory." Our eyes have seen the glory. It has been amazing for us to be able to be a participant, to be a collaborator. Your Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs has been with the center since the very beginning. I have seen this labor of love and duty take place since very uncertain times when there was no money. You know, when it was all volunteers. And everybody was wondering, where is the money going to come from? How are we going to do this? But I will tell you, it takes good intentions from veterans, a supportive community, a supportive mayor, and city council that punted up the dollars to be able to start the foundation of this center, to be able to bring to fruition a viable, amazing service center that is going to be continuing to change lives for as long as it stays here in the city of Lacey. As Gary said, millions of dollars a year. So not only this is the right thing to do, but it's good business for the city of Lacey and for Thurston County. There are people from all over the state and sometimes from other places in the country that are looking at the Lacey Hub as the kind of place that they want to emulate. And I know people from Whatcom County have come, they have toured the place, and they are making hubs pretty much in the light of this one. So City of Lacey, Thurston County, your Washington State Department of Veterans Affairs, Mary Forth, our Assistant Director, Steve Gill, who is our Administrator for Vet Services, have been all along in training staff in here, being able to provide financial support, to be able to make sure that we make the dollar go a little bit longer for the hub. So congratulations on this amazing day, and we are here to serve you and our veterans and ensure that we provide the best quality of life for them and their families. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Alfie. I remember really early on, Scott Spence and myself. Whoop. As I was saying, I remember early on, Scott Spence and myself took a meeting with Alfie and said, hey, we need veteran services down here in Thurston County, specifically in Lacey. And she's been supportive from the get-go. Yes, thank you. thank you so much for everything you've given. I'm going to give you another hand. So to close out our special guest speakers portion of today's event, I'd like to welcome Dante Payne, the Deputy Director for Congresswoman Strickland's and a veteran, to speak and say a few words. Dante?
All right. Thanks, Mayor, for taking that from me. That would have been quite the surprise. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Dante Payne. I'm the Deputy District Director to Congresswoman Strickland. I'm joined here today by my colleague, District Director Liz Larder. So on behalf of the Congresswoman, I just want to say thank you, first and foremost. This is an incredible day, and I'm really honored to be here. You know, there are over 110,000 veterans in the 10th Congressional District. And the Lacey Veterans Center serves as a lifeline for thousands of these veterans. And 76,000 of them live. Thank you, sir. The good thing about veterans is that we're resilient, so this is fine. So as I was saying, the 10th Congressional District is the home to 76,000 veterans. And we are very proud of that. In fact, this district, I believe, is the 9th largest veteran population in the United States. And so we have a significant population in our community. And as someone who comes from a military family, the Congresswoman, her father was a veteran, both of World War II and the Korean War, and she understands the importance of supporting our veteran community. She was the recipient of this type of care as a dependent, and supporting veterans means supporting their families as well. The South Sound veterans and their families have given so much to their country. They have bravely defended our freedoms, fought for our rights, and created the safe and secure, bravely defended our freedoms and the nation we inhabit today. Taking care of our veterans and providing them resources is just the right thing to do for those who have made sacrifices every single day to keep us safe. And that is why in Congress, the Congresswoman has fought to ensure our nation's heroes and families are taken care of both during and after military service. And I might add that that transition is not easy. We often think of after service and during service, but the transition between the two is quite the challenge for many folks. From being named a Hills Veteran Ambassador to expand policies for veterans, supporting high-quality health and mental health services, transportation and housing, she has always been a strong voice for veterans and will continue to do so. We applaud all of the life-changing work of the Lacey Veterans Service Hub and continue to do in the work you'll continue to do in our community. And we'll always be a partner to you, and we are here. You just have to say the word, and we'll be happy to help you. I want to thank you so much for having us today to celebrate this reopening, and I'm just going to go off script here for a moment. You know, I, as a veteran of Thurston County, and as an Afghanistan war veteran, it's really important that we have this center here. We are ending the war, and that means that this type of center is going to be so meaningful and so useful to so many people for decades to come. And so we have to keep those people in mind. We will feel the effects for years. And this center will do the important work of making sure that we meet the needs that so many are going to need to have addressed. And it's nice to have it done in your own community. When you see people who are familiar faces, I look out and I see a lot of people here, and I would feel very comfortable coming here because, frankly, it would just feel like a family. And I think that this small setting will do that for so many veterans, and they'll feel very trusted and encouraged to come here. So thank you for that, and thank you for having us today.
Thank you, Dante. And please pass along our sincere thanks to Congresswoman Strickland for her ongoing support of veterans in our community. Like her predecessor, Danny Heck was just amazing as well. We greatly appreciate all the hard work she is doing to improve veterans' lives, not just here in Lacey, but across the country. And I remember talking with Marilyn early on and saying, wait till you see the jewel that we have in Lacey, in the Lacey Veteran Services Hub. It's going to be something that you're going to be extremely proud of, and she has been, and she's been supportive from the get-go. So please pass that along to her. Now that we're at a special part in today's ceremony, I'd like to invite the representatives from Senator Murray in Cantwell's office, Lieutenant Governor Heck's office, if he's here, or Dante Payne, Alfie, Gary Edwards, Gary Walker, members of Lacey City Council, any members of our state delegation, South Puget Sound Community College representatives, and representatives of all of our service providers to come forward as we're going to cut the ribbon. We're going to cut it right over here. Come on up. Everyone come on up. Dante, come on up. We got it, everyone? Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta get Alfie in here.
You got everyone? Okay, I'm counting to 3 here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yay! Well, thank you all. I'd also like to take this moment to present a plaque that's going to be hung in perpetuity in the hub, honoring this suspension in this momentous occasion. Of course, we had a minor mistake with the plaque, and a new one's being printed as we speak, but you know that's how we keep rolling with it. So now we'll have this placeholder of a solid glass version that's soon to come. The actual plaque will be hung in a few days. So if we can get members of the Lacey City Council, please come up here. And would you do us the honor of unveiling this plaque? It'll look just like this. Thanks, guys. Well, have to keep this day memorable. And we'll also have one more plaque. This plaque is going to be a special one that we'll hope will be prominently displayed at the front of the desk. And it's to all of the Hub volunteers. All the Hub volunteers in the crowd today, past and present, can you please join me up here? That includes you, Shane Sullivan, because I know you've been a volunteer at the Hub and working there. All the Hub volunteers, if you can come up. Says, with sincere appreciation to Lacey Veteran Service Hub volunteers, thank you for your service and your dedication to veterans and their families. Thank you. We couldn't do it without you. This plaque is for you. You're the backbone of the Hub, and what you do makes a significant difference in our community. So thank you for everything.
Thank you, Mayor Ryder.
No words? No words of wisdom?
So now, would you all please stand for the benediction? Afterwards, please join me for refreshments, which is graciously provided by the American Red Cross and the Goodwill Olympics in Rainier Region, and tours of the facility inside. Benediction.
Dear Lord, in the words of Fred Reclau, let us remember our purpose here and your mercy for us. Cure offers what is. Healing offers what might be. Cure is an act. Healing is a process. Cure acts upon another. Healing shares with another. Cure manages, but healing touches. Cure seeks ultimately to conquer the pain, but healing seeks to transcend the pain. Cure ignores grief, whereas healing assumes grief. Cure rejects death and views it as defeat. Healing includes death among the blessed outcome of caring. Cure may occur with our healing. Healing may occur without cure. Cure separates the body from the soul, whereas healing embraces the soul. Cure tends to isolate. Healing tends to incorporate. Cure combats illness, but healing fosters wellness. Healing fosters function. Cure fosters function, whereas healing fosters purpose. It is by these words that we are, as a community of all and for veterans, that we dedicate ourselves and these new facilities to the healing of our brothers and sisters in their battles for physical and internal peace. May by our efforts enhance the healing that is needed so very much for those who are in need. Lord, let us be instruments of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is discord, union. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. For thy mercy and for thy truth's sake, for God and country. Amen.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today and for making this day possible. From the bottom of my heart, this hub is something that makes Lacey so special and our region so special. And it's a great source of pride that we are able to help so many veterans that have fought and sometimes given the ultimate sacrifice to make sure that we're standing here today. So thank you, thank you, thank you. The work continues. Let's go in and check out this wonderful renovated hub. Thanks.